Imagine you're running a marathon, but halfway through, the organizers decide to double the weight of your shoes. That is exactly what happened to the sports industry in 2025. While some giants are literally printing cash, others found a hole in their pocket the size of a crater. The culprit? A toxic cocktail of massive tariffs and a global identity crisis. Some brands chose to be the luxury sports car, while others got stuck in the slow lane of the discount bin. Today we're looking at who's actually winning the race. The middle class of the sports world is officially dying. We call this consumer bifurcation, which is fancy talk for saying shoppers are either buying the $800 mountain jacket they don't need, or they're hunting for 70% off coupons at the outlet. There is no middle ground anymore. To make matters worse, Mother Nature joined the chat. A warm winter left warehouses stuffed with heavy coats that nobody wanted. If you're a brand stuck in the middle, your inventory isn't an asset, it's a liability gathering dust. Let's talk about the taxman from the government. These Section 122 inches tariffs aren't just numbers, they're profit shredders. Look at this. Colombia had a target, but the government basically walked in and took a $50 million bite out of it. That's enough money to buy every person in a small city a high-end winter parka for free. When your business earnings are being eaten by politics before you even open your doors, you don't just need a new designer, you need a new map. So here is the multi-million-dollar question. How do you keep the lights on and keep growing when the world is trying to tax you into oblivion? How do you fund your fancy apps and Fifth Avenue stores when your costs are exploding? Stick around, because the answer isn't just sell more shoes. It's a total surgical overhaul of how these companies exist. The 2026 playbook has 3 rules. First, stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Brands are moving factories like a high-stakes game of Tetris to avoid tariffs. Second, quality over quantity. They are firing their bad retailers. Yes, brands are ghosting stores that sell their stuff too cheap. And third, the defensive crouch. Cutting staff and raising prices. It's a painful combo, but in 2026, survival is the new growth. Let's look at the scoreboard. This table is the tale of 3 cities. On one side, you have Amer Sports, the growth monster, fueled by the cult of Arc'teryx. In the middle, Colombia, the safety vault, who has so much cash under the mattress, they aren't even worried. And then, there's PUMA. They took a $378 million hit. That's not a typo. They spent the year cleaning the house, and it was a very expensive spring cleaning. Amer Sports is currently the cool kid of Wall Street. Their secret weapon? Arc'teryx. This brand is making $1,800 for every square foot of their stores. To put that in perspective, that's like fitting the price of a high-end MacBook into a space the size of your floor mat every single year. They aren't selling jackets. They're selling a membership to an elite club, and half of that club is in China. If the economy was a storm, Colombia is the bunker. Their business health, or gross margin, is a rock-solid 50.5%. They have no debt, none. They are the only ones in the room who don't owe anyone a dime. How? By being ruthless. They saw the tariff storm coming and moved 80% of their shoemaking to Vietnam. They didn't wait for the tax bill. They moved the whole house before the mailman arrived. PUMA is currently in the emergency room, but it was a choice. They realized their logo was becoming too common, the kind of thing you see in a bargain bin next to cheap cereal. So they did something brave and painful. They stopped selling to those cheap stores and laid off 1,400 people. It's like a forest fire. It looks devastating while it's burning, but they're hoping it clears the way for new, premium growth. The old rule was, make it in China and ship it everywhere. The new rule? Make it where you sell it. PUMA is building closed-loop systems. They make stuff in Turkey for Europe and in Latin America for the US. It's about physical distance. If the goods don't cross a controversial border, they don't get a controversial tax. It's the end of the global factory and the start of the local-ish factory. How do you pay for a $50 million tax hike? You can either fire your staff or charge your customers more. Most brands are doing both. Colombia is already warning that your 2026 hiking boots are going to cost more. They know they might lose some customers who can't afford the hike, but they'd rather sell fewer boots at a profit than a million boots at a loss. It's a brutal calculation. The most important number in this whole deck is 50%. That is the direct-to-consumer threshold. When a brand sells directly to you on their website, they keep all the money. No middleman, no retail markup. Amer and Colombia are almost there. Every time you buy from their site instead of a big box mall, you're helping them hide from the margin crunch. Growth is a trap. If you grow by selling your $200 sneakers for $40 at a discount store, you're killing your brand. PUMA and Wilson are now doing the wholesale purge. They are literally telling stores, we don't want your money if you're gonna make our brand look cheap. They'd rather be small and hot than huge and discounted. Who has the better brain? Amer Sports runs like a United Nations of brands. Tariffs and Solomon do their own thing, but share the boring stuff like warehouses. PUMA is a monarchy. Everything is under one crown. If people stop liking the PUMA logo, the whole kingdom falls. In 2026, having a portfolio of cool brands is a lot safer than betting everything on one cat. Even when they are firing people, they are still buying computers. Why? Because you can't run a global empire on Excel sheets anymore. They are spending millions on digital brains, ERP systems, to track every single shoe from the factory to your doorstep. If they know exactly where their stuff is, they can move it away from a tariff zone in hours, not weeks. But here's the skeleton in the closet. Amer Sports is addicted to China. 30% of their money comes from there. It's their greatest strength and their biggest nightmare. If trade relations sour even more, Amer doesn't just lose a factory, they lose their best customer. It's a high-stakes gamble that makes investors very, very nervous. Being green isn't just about saving the planet anymore. It's about getting past the border guards. New laws in Europe and the US mean if you can't prove your clothes were made ethically, they get sent back at the port. Sustainability is the new passport. If you don't have it, you're not getting into the best markets. Here is your 2026 watch list. Early in the year, watch if people actually pay those higher prices at Colombia. By the summer, see if they've managed their inventory or if warehouses are overflowing again. And by the end of the year, all eyes are on PUMA. Can the World Cup hype save them, or was the $378 million reset all for nothing? The verdict? Amer is the high-speed rocket. Exciting, but watch the fuel levels in China. Colombia is the battleship, slow but impossible to sink. And PUMA is the phoenix, trying to rise from the ashes of a massive reset. The era of easy money is over. In 2026, the winners are the ones who own their data and their destiny. This data is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to see the full P&L breakdowns and our secret supply chain heat map, head over to HDIN Research. Don't let your strategy be a guessing game. Subscribe for more deep dives, and we'll see you in the next boardroom.